inspired by a higher love. I am 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 inspired by a higher love. So let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Oh yeah. Let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Oh yeah. 'Cause when we love each other, there ain't nothing that we two can't do. Higher, 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 higher. 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 I am inspired by a higher love. 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 So let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Ooh yeah. Let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Oh yeah. Ooh. 'Cause when we love each other, there ain't nothing that we two can't do. Higher, 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 higher. 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 I am inspired by a higher love. 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 So let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Ooh yeah. Let me love you, love you, love you, let me love you. Won't you love me too? Yeah. 'Cause when we love each other, there ain't nothing that we two can't do. Higher, 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 higher. Higher, 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 higher. Higher, 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 higher. I am inspired.
Good morning. We welcome you with open arms and open hearts to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. I am Maxine, Kaye, Senior Minister and Chief Cheerleader for our beloved community. It is so good to be with you today as we come together lovingly and enthusiastically to move forward in our personal lives, in our communities, and in the world. And wherever you may be on your spiritual path, whatever your philosophy, whatever your political affiliation, your gender, your sexual orientation, you are welcome here. We love you. Our vision is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Our mission is a world that works for all. And our purpose statement is, and I'm inviting you to say it with me, living, loving, learning spirituality that works. And our opening song by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, I recognize the God in you.
I recognize the God in you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Now look at the person next to you.
Now look at the person next to you.
Say, God loves you and I love you too.
God loves you and I love you too.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
And lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together
In the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say namaste, I bow to you.
Namaste, I bow to you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together
In the name of love. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Oh, that was wonderful. And how beautiful it was to see our congregation a couple of years ago singing that song together with Elise and Tim and our music team. And right here in the sanctuary, I'm envisioning that it will happen again. Ah, well, I believe this is the time for a meditation. What do you think about that? You ready to have a little quiet time where we dive deeply within? I'd like to focus today on coming together. Of course, that's what this entire day is about. That's what this world is about to be about. And so you've heard about chaos theory, right? And it's a very interesting interdisciplinary theory that says within the apparent randomness of chaotic complex systems, there are underlying patterns, interconnectedness, constant feedback loops, repetition, self-similarity, fractals, and self-organization. The butterfly effect you've heard of? It's an underlying principle of this chaos theory. It describes how a small change in one state of a deterministic non-linear system can result in a large difference in a later state. And a metaphor for this behavior is that of the butterfly flapping its wings in Texas that might cause a hurricane in China. Well, let's come together now as we take a deep, holy breath of life and release any sense of concern. Let's invite that breath to become a pathway to the heart. And here we enter deeply, so deeply, into the divine embrace that we begin to see with the eye of the heart, hear with the ear of the heart, and know that the unimpeachable wholeness underlying all circumstances is rising up to reveal itself to us now. The simple, sacred support underlying and undergirding the world and all its inhabitants loves and guides us to greater awareness, greater aliveness. We begin to understand the perfect patterns within and all around us. We see the divine in one another. We celebrate our unity as we come even more deeply into the sacred space within our hearts, all of which are being held tenderly in the cosmic heart. And let's just come into this sacred silence for a moment. What we know is God is, I am, and all is well. And now let's welcome our practitioner of the day, Georgiana Gord, with a wonderful opening spiritual mind treatment. Georgiana?
Good morning. My name is Georgiana, and welcome to our Sunday celebration. And please join me for our affirmative prayer, of which I will state in the first person. So please join me as you choose. So I state this treatment with regards to knowing that the glory of greater glory is the collaboration that I am in with God. Because God is my life is God. God is the universal power, the universal love, the universal essence of all life, and it's right here, right now, and lives through and by means of me. And I unify with this magnificent presence of God, and I unify with the peace and the joy and the harmony and the wisdom and the truth and the beauty, and so much more. I am so grateful for this opportunity to unify in these magnificent qualities. And in all of this, I am in coordination and cooperation and co-creation with the God presence. I am so grateful for this as I allow myself to be in this conversation with God, where I hear with the eye of the heart and I see all the good in my life, in the life of all, with the eye of the heart. This is what I know, and this is an opportunity to know this for myself. And as I feel the love of God for myself and the cooperation and the coordination and the co-creation, I know this includes all. So thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this opportunity to be in spirit and in the inspiration, knowing God is my life is God. Thank you as I release this into the law, knowing that it is received, acted upon, and done. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Georgiana. Now, will you repeat with me, if you choose to, our affirmation of the day? I choose to engage wisely and lovingly with my source, eagerly participating with all to bring about a difference in the world. Now I'd like to say good morning to our kids. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Happy Sunday. So glad to be with you today. Do you remember a lesson a few weeks ago that we shared from Harry Potter? It was simply this: we are stronger together. We are stronger together. And today is a day about unity and about open-hearted inclusion. And this is true right now as we learn to hold all people in our hearts, and to feel grateful for our oneness in God and our beautiful different ways of being in the world. There's one life, remember? One life, God's life. That life is your life and my life. It is the life of every being on this planet. And we have interesting differences in the way we show up in the world, in the way we look, in the way we speak, in the views that we hold, how we talk and how we live. And let's just be so happy that we live in a world where we really can celebrate the beauty of all beings, where we may be kind to one another and let ourselves be loved and guided by God within and all around us to do what is ours to do every day. And I know that's what you are doing today and every day, is listening deeply within your heart to hear what God is sharing with you. One of the things we can always hear when we get quiet and listen to that divine voice within us is this: Thou art my beloved one, in whom I am well pleased. If we are so loved by the divine, then it becomes easier for us to love others and include them in our hearts. So we're celebrating our unity today, and we're celebrating our differences today, and we're celebrating that we are stronger together. That's my message for you today, and in fact, it's probably my message for you every day. We love you so much, and perhaps some of you will be with us this afternoon at our tailgate party out in the parking lot. If your parents haven't mentioned it to you, maybe today's the time to mention it to them. 12:30. Hope to see you then. Love you so much. Today continues our month's theme of what is ours to do. And isn't it wonderful that today's topic is coming together for good? I love listening to divine inspiration, don't you? I love planning things weeks in advance that turn out to be, like just right for the day that it occurs. Last month, we were focusing on living our values. Each Sunday and the days in between the Sundays, we were working together to remember our core values: love, kindness, healing, oneness, co-creation, abundance, spiritual growth, service, inclusion, harmony. And today we get to embrace and to celebrate and to live those qualities. You've been doing some mighty good work in deepening your connection, all of us deepening our connection with the living source, which is God. Call it whatever you will: divine mind, infinite love, the beloved. And as a result, we continue to raise up our consciousness and to speak our truth with love and with wisdom. Our quote today is from Sharif Abdullah's Creating a World That Works for All. We are engaged in building community through collaborative, inclusive dialogue on fundamental issues affecting society. Through communication, people discover their hidden kinship. We believe that somewhere in the heartfelt communion of two or more souls, the Spirit can be found. Oh, the Spirit can always be found within each of our hearts and souls, and most definitely when we're gathered with people who are willing to have heartfelt, authentic, meaningful discussions with one another based on our commonality, based on the realization that we all came from the one source, which is divine, and that each of us has a splendid opportunity to celebrate our individualized expression of that one life. An open, willing heart, that's what we all desire, an open, willing heart from the center of spirit engages with others to do what? To bring about what we pray about. This is what's ours to do today and every day that follows. We are consciously creating a world that works for all. And I'm inviting you to continue to do this as we join together, heart to heart, mind to mind, hand to hand, to know that we are the ones. This is the time for us to decide what we desire our world to look like. It's a divine pattern ready to emerge. So as we talk about it, as we pray about it, as we gather and share our most profound and highest ideas about what this world can look like, then we begin to ask, is it a world in which fairness prevails, justice, integrity, peace, prosperity, unity, wisdom, compassion, mutual caring and respect? Are you resonating with these core values? Of course, because they are universal core values. There's not anyone on this earth who doesn't desire good for themselves, happiness for themselves, and everyone is in the process in our spiritual evolutionary growth to desire that also for every sentient being. We don't have to agree on everything to agree on the important things. The important things are there's one life. It's God's life, it's your life and my life, and the life of every sentient being. That life is here to bring us life abundant. That life is here for us to celebrate who we are and who each of our brothers and sisters is as well. Truly, one in consciousness with God constitutes a complete majority. And this is where it begins, isn't it? Each of us begins to realize there is one, that one brought and continues to bring and forever will bring all creation from the very heart of itself. We're created from that divine source. Every person, every sentient being comes forth from that beautiful divine life. There's no other. One life, your life, my life, everyone's life. So this is the time that we are ready and we are prepared to heal anything that seems unlike that. Because in opening to Spirit's inspiration, which is what we are doing right now, this one in consciousness with God constituting a complete majority expands. And it's greater when we are working in concert in community. And that's what we're doing here. Yes, we begin with a community of like-minded people. And from that point, we then begin closing the gaps and crossing the bridges, because you may have noticed that there's been a great divisiveness in our country and in the world itself. Now we have the splendid opportunity to heal that. And we can heal it by bringing our better selves to every thought, every feeling, every idea, every construct, every conversation. We have the ability, and it is ours to do, to begin to heal this. It's not just leadership, although we're grateful for making sure that the people who are engaged in leading our country and leading the world are coming from the greatest integrity and the greatest core values. It is we, no matter who the leadership may be, it is we who are called upon to bring our better angels to our families and to our neighbors and to our spiritual communities and to the world. Reverend Mike and I love engaging in so many wonderful interfaith coming together of Christians and Jews and Muslims and New Thought people and all different varieties of religious experience. We love loving these people. They are our brothers and sisters. Yes, they have different books. Yes, they have different spiritual practices. And do you know what fun it is to engage with them in their spiritual practices? And what fun it is for them to engage occasionally in ours? It's like trying on a coat. Well, it's a lovely coat. Well, no, it's not the one that I would wear today, but isn't it interesting to see how it feels? It's the same thing when we're understanding in an open-hearted way what is important to another person, what is vitally essential to another person, and to honor that, to honor it. We want to model caring and compassion. I believe I've told you in the past about a gentleman by the name of Ira Pearl Ira Sandpearl, who came to our university one day, and we gathered in an auditorium and listened to him speak about peace and nonviolence. And yes, he had walked with Martin Luther King, and yes, he had studied the Gandhian principles, and he was one of the most centered, peaceful individuals I'd ever met. He'd been injured. One arm had been injured in a some sort of a fracas that took place where he was protesting peacefully, and so the arm wasn't working quite as well as the other one, but it didn't seem to bother him at all. However, this may seem unbelievable, but one of the people in the audience yelled out to him, "Why aren't you using that other arm? What's wrong with it?" And he was as gracious, as kind, as compassionate as I've ever seen anyone be. And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, does that bother you? I'm just not able to use that as well as the other." And he went on with his talk. And he told us of a time that he had been in San Francisco and had given a talk, a workshop, something at one of the hotels downtown. And it was very late when he left there. It was probably 2 o'clock in the morning when he was walking back to where he was staying. And in the walk back, he was accosted by a very anxious young man with a gun who said, "Give me your money." And Ira looked at him with all the love that he has for the other human beings in this world. And he went in his pocket and he said, "I have $2. And he said, "You know what? You look hungry. I'm kind of hungry myself. There's an all-night taco stand over there. Why don't you and I go get a bite to eat?" And the young man said, "Yes, I am hungry." So they went and they had their tacos and they talked. And this young man fell under the spell of love that Ira Sandpearl cast so beautifully, and ultimately came to work for him in his Peace and Nonviolence Center. We're not interested in the love of power, are we? We are very vitally interested in the power of love. And we can't all be an Ira Sandpearl, but we can see him and others like him as beautiful examples of how we can stop making other people wrong, how we can stop judging, and how we can begin loving on a deeper level. People have different opinions. Did you notice that? People have different opinions in this world. Remember, who was it who said, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." Let's not try and shake people loose from their opinions. Let's just love the heck out of them. And Edward Markham, I love what he said. He drew a circle that shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. Are you ready to do this? Do you realize how vitally important it is that we do this right now, at this stage in our wonderful game of life? By the way, it is a game of life. Sometimes we take it a little too seriously. It's not about win and lose. It's about playing the game with all the love and all the wisdom, all the compassion, all the caring, and all the clarity and the highest consciousness that we possibly can. I think it's time that we started loving the fear out of each other, loving the anxiety out of each other, loving the mistrust out of each other, loving the anger out of each other. I guess I can say this. I think it's time that we just love the hell out of each other. This is a vital force. It's not a hallmark thing. It is a vital force. Divine love is the cosmic urge which brings everything into being from the very heart of the divine itself. And it dwells within each one of us, and it is ours to do. Our work, our divine work, our holy work, our sacred work is to listen to Spirit with the ear of the heart and to honor each beloved, as we co-create a workable world of shared purpose. We don't have enemies. I love what Jesus said, that the enemies are of our own household. And I'm not talking about your relatives. Within the household of our own consciousness is where we have disparity, is where we have an inner divide. We can't heal an outer divide until we do the extremely serious and fruitful work of healing the divisions within us. This is the time for us all to do our work, our inner holy work. What is still judgmental within us? What is still making other people wrong? What is still having beliefs about people who this or who that or who don't or who do? That has to be healed within us before we can possibly heal anything between us and other individuals or other groups of people. There are people today who are celebrating. There are people today who are grieving. Can we not open our loving arms and our hearts and our consciousness wide enough to embrace everyone and to remind each other that we are standing on a threshold of a possibility of a world that truly does work for all, but it has to start with me. I assume that may be true of you as well. I know it starts with me. I know I have to look at things that are still unlovely within my subconscious mind, beliefs that I may have garnered early on in my life that I thought I had outgrown, but I noticed there's still a little twinge of something. We feel all beliefs about the other there in the world is merely a reflection of what we may be beholding within ourselves. Now, when we speak the beautiful prayer of St. Francis, let's realize that we really are speaking it to ourselves in order to heal whatever needs to be healed within our own subconscious mind. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is despair, joy. We want to shift what's taking place within our own hearts and minds and our own subconscious portions of those minds. We wish to become a clear, radiant instrument through which the divine may express. We desire to be the ones that we've been waiting for. In fact, we are. We are. Does this take work? Yes. Is it easy? No. Is it essential? Is it essential? Absolutely. Each one of us gets to step up. Now, there are those who may not feel they can. Well, why don't we just open our arms a little wider and help to lift those as well? We're all going to get there. I want you to hear this. We are all going to get there. In the meantime, there may be struggle, there may be strife, there may be hatred. We get to do our work in order to make the transcendent activity that we're in the business of doing right now. Let's develop greater understanding and compassion and harmony in our own homes. How can we do anything out there in the world if we're not being nice to each other in our homes, if we're not supporting and sustaining and loving and caring and seeking to understand what another person may be feeling, and finding that common ground where we can know that love is still in charge, and we can surrender all of those false opinions and move to a greater playing field of love. Do you desire a healthier planet? I do too. So we are the ones to do the work to bring about a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable planet. We are the ones who are here to do the awakening of ourselves first in order to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. I'm so happy today to be at the cutting edge with you, with everyone in this world, of co-creating the most beautiful future we can imagine for ourselves. So today is the day that all of us begin to envision a future that we've wanted all of our lives, that everybody on this planet deserves, and every sentient being is entitled to. A world that works for all, a world of peace and prosperity and productivity, a world of unity, and a world of diversity in that unity that we all celebrate. Let's stop being scared of each other. Let's stop judging one another. Let's celebrate our ability to love fiercely. Let's love fiercely today. Those that are easy to love and those that may be a little more difficult. This is the answer. We've stepped into our solution. And we step into it again and again. Every time we dive deep in our hearts where we are being held and nurtured and lifted and guided by that divine presence which adores us. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for all who are in the process of lifting humanity and lifting this world to the place that God intended us to be. We are here to live our lives peacefully and powerfully, serenely and abundantly, joyously and fully. And we desire that for every sentient being. We are coming together for good. We are coming together for good. And we won't go back. We're going forward. We're going forward together, all of us. Will you say with me, I engage wisely and lovingly with my source. I participate with all beings as we bring about a beautiful difference in our world. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. Now is the time that we share our bounty, because every good thing is given to us by God, and so we have the opportunity to circulate it, and as we do, more returns to us. So you have an opportunity to give your gift, whatever that may be, to this beloved center, so that we may thrive and continue to speak truth and embrace with love and wisdom. So will you say, there are ways that you can see on our screen. You may share your good with this center. And let's together speak our prosperity affirmation. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
With these eyes I will see, with this heart I will be, opening wide, turning Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. With these eyes I will see, with this heart I will be, opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead, with this grace I will breathe, deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name, call me home, and light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. With these eyes I will see, with this heart I will be, opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead, with this grace I will breathe, deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name, call me home, and light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh, let love be our legacy. Yes, let love be our legacy.
Hello everyone, this is Edie Janik. I am a member of the Board of Trustees for the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, and I have today's announcements for you. We have a number of new events coming up, so please listen carefully. If you're interested in gathering together with other people for inspiration, we have one virtual class and 2 virtual workshops that I'll be telling you about. The virtual class is one you've heard of before. It's Reverend Mike's Science of Mind textbook study group, and it is a wonderful, wonderful experience. We invite you to join us. It's on Saturdays from 9:45 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is a free offering. We gladly accept any donations from a love offering perspective if you feel so moved. Pesky. And if you'd like to join it, oh, wait a minute. My neighbor's here. Well, this is a wonderful surprise. Hi, Bob. I'm just giving the news to our members at the Center for Spiritual Living. So have a seat. I'm glad you stopped by.
Thanks.
Okay. So as I was saying, Reverend Mike's study group continues, and if you'd like to join in, please contact Reverend Mike at revmike@cslphilly.org. I got it right that time. Or you can call him directly at 760-828-7698. And we hope to see you there. The next event that I'd like to talk to you about is one I'm actually going to read because it seems really interesting to me, and I don't want to leave any of the important details out. So Sarah McDermott is offering a free 1-hour virtual seminar on how to abolish limiting beliefs on Friday, November 13th. It runs from 7 to 8 p.m. And Sarah says, you can't defeat monsters you don't see. Would you agree with that, Bob? You can't defeat monsters you don't see.
Absolutely.
Okay, put that back up. All right. Limiting beliefs are our own personal monsters, and you must overcome them to get to your happily ever after. You will learn how to identify and overcome your limiting beliefs by using wisdom from an unlikely source. This is interesting. Horror movies. So for details on how to sign up, go to our calendar and click on Friday the 13th, or you can email Linda O'Neill at admin@cslphilly.com for more information. You like horror movies, don't you? Oh, he gets a little spooked with the horror movies. So our other virtual workshop that's being offered is coming to us from Frank Henninger. It's being offered on Saturday, November 21st from 1 to 4 p.m. And here's Frank to tell you more about his workshop.
Thank you and good morning. I am Frank Henninger, and I'd like to tell you about a workshop that I will soon be teaching for GPCSL using the Zoom platform. This workshop is being offered for your consideration as a new mindfulness practice to promote your spiritual health and expand your awareness of the good things you experience every day. The workshop is Saturday, November 21st from 1 to 4 p.m. I developed this workshop after a creativity assignment required for one of the graduate courses I had during my time in the Holmes Institute Masters of Consciousness Studies program. Once I started writing haiku poems over 2 years ago, I have written over 150 haiku in the classical 3-line 5-7-5 syllabic format. In this workshop, I will teach that examples. You will finish the workshop having started your own experience in writing haiku and your development of what is called the haiku mind. This workshop requires no prior experience. It costs $50 per person, payable to GPCSL, and advanced registration is required to receive the Zoom link and the student materials in advance of the workshop date. There are no required books for this workshop except for the student materials that are included in your workshop fee. I hope to see many of you in this forthcoming class.
Thanks, Frank. That sounds like a wonderful opportunity. For more details, you can go to our events calendar at www.cslphilly.org. And you can also, while you're there, view past Sunday celebrations. Bob checks in on them all the time. And he's very busy, so he likes being able to view the Sunday celebrations. And you can also see Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike's daily love notes. We're going to be hearing from our board president and treasurer, Karen Davis, in just a moment. But before we go to Karen, Dr. Maxine has a few words she'd like to say.
This is so much fun, and it's nice to have Bob sitting there with you, Edie. You ought to bring him to the center sometime. Well, many of us are aware that this coming Wednesday is Veterans Day, and we so honor all of those veterans still on the planet and those who are not, who have contributed so much to our country's well-being. And today, I want to tell you that Emily and Jeff are sponsoring this Sunday in honor of Captain John Zoll. They would like to honor him this Sunday for Veterans Day. They want to thank him for his service to our country, but also Thank him for all he does to support them with help and advice. Thank you. Semper Fidelis, always faithful.
Thanks, Dr. Maxine. And now, as promised, here is Karen Davis, our board president and treasurer, with a special announcement about our intentional giving program.
Hello, my name is Karen Davis, and I am the president and treasurer of the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. As you may already be aware, the center has launched the Intentional Giving program for the upcoming calendar year 2021. This is the time of year when we ask ourselves how we can support Divine Mind's work in expressing as the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. We each vary in our capacity to contribute financially to our beloved center, but every gift is important and necessary to bring forth and sustain our center's vision of a world that works for all. 2020 brought unprecedented challenges to the entire world, including our very own center. Through the consistent and generous intentional giving contribution commitments made during this time last year, long before we knew of COVID-19 or its impacts, we have been able to continue being a source of inspiration and enlightenment through live stream Sunday celebrations, classes and social events held via Zoom, inspirational messages from Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike on YouTube and Facebook. And now we are asking that you once again prayerfully consider how you can support those activities and support the center when we can once again joyfully and safely resume our normal in-person operations. And that day will come. This came to pass. We ask that you respond to this opportunity by October 26th by returning the intentional giving form via regular mail to the CSL office, to the attention of the treasurer, or via email to me at kmdavis0331@gmail.com. The form, or you didn't receive it, simply send me an email and let me know your intention. This information, as always, is held in the strictest confidence. It is known only to the treasurer, the leader of the asset and the abundance and asset allocation team, the spiritual leader, and the GPCSL bookkeeper. After October 26th, the board will know what our expected income for 2021 will be, and we will develop a budget for the coming year. We encourage you to listen to your heart regarding your intention of financial support and help us continue to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence together. As always, feel free to contact me or any member of your Board of Trustees if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. So you may remember last Sunday we had planned on a tailgate gathering at our center in the CSL parking lot last Sunday, but the weather really wasn't very good for a gathering outdoors, and we want everyone to be safe, so we are rescheduling for today after our celebration. Can you come? It's 12:30. I hope you can come, Bob. And so at 12:30 we'll be meeting in the parking lot at CSL. Bring your lawn chair, any refreshments, or your lunch. Make sure you bring a mask. We'll have great fun connecting while we're also practicing safe distancing. But it's so nice to see people in person, don't you think? Don't you think? That's why I'm so glad Bob stopped by today. And I believe that's all for our announcements. Oh, but wait. Oh, it's nice to see people in person. And you know, Bob, as you can see, he loves bingo. So hopefully when things normalize and we're able to gather together, we'll have bingo again. I'm going to keep pushing for the bingo when it's appropriate. So I'll let you know when that happens, okay? Okay. All right, everybody, have a great day. Hope to see you.
I love our announcements, Edie and Bob. That was awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you at the tailgate party today at 12:30. And Karen asked me to mention to you that as far as the intentional giving program, which is so wonderful, and we're so grateful for everyone stepping up to participate in it, that the date for the receipt of those forms has now been extended to November 11th. November 11th. So let's all get our forms in. Helps us know what to plan for the coming year. Oh, we're so grateful. We are so grateful. And now we're so grateful that we have a closing song called Love is the Only River, a song for peace.
We are one love, one race. We all come from the same place. We all live in this world together. It doesn't matter who's right. It doesn't matter who's wrong. If we don't all get along much better.
Show each other more respect, then maybe we could connect and stop taking all these things for granted.
You think that you're all alone, but we all share the same home. Let's join
let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
Holding the world together. Holding the world. Love is the only
Love is the only river. Let us all swim in it with grace and dignity and love. And so it is.